Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Raymond Drops. I thank you for all being able to attend. The speech I'm about to give is in memory of my daughter, Ray Danielle Drops, otherwise known as Sissy. Sissy was the first girl born on my father's side in 32 years. She was very, very spoiled for this fact. She was a biological daughter and had two other brothers, Keith and ZJ, Keith being the oldest, Zachary being the middle child. When they were babies, I came up with a saying for them that I put them to sleep with each and every night. The saying went something like this: good night, see you in the morning, I love you, and play with the angels. I'd like to talk about an obsession that Sissy had when she was a baby. The obsession would be my feet. I would take Sissy out of her playpen and we'd play on the floor for hours. And then I'd sit down in my chair and Sissy would crawl to my feet and put her face in the creases of my feet and rock herself to sleep. This continued until she was 3 years old. And then she quit. But if you knew Sissy, you come to know Sissy, you would have loved Sissy. Anyone who ever came into contact with Sissy knew that she was somebody special. She had an open heart for everybody, no matter who they were. She cared for people more than she cared for herself. It's not to say that she didn't care for herself, it's just that she cared for other people. She cared for other people in manners where she'd listen to their problems, she'd give advice, all the way to the fact where she was working at the nursing home up the road to caring for elderly people. We had discussed this nurturing aspect of herself. She had got her CNA in high school, and when she moved here, she worked at the nursing home, and she wanted nothing more than to become a registered nurse. So I agreed with her 100% due to the fact that because of her caring for people, I thought that it would bring her to the top of her profession. The caring for the patient. She wouldn't be doing it for the money. She'd be doing it for the caring of the patient alone. And that would be it. That would be enough gratification for her to take care of an older person, or any person for that matter, in the hospital. Through the love and compassion that she had for everybody, it taught me to set down my armor and open up my mind. She showed me that there were still good people, and that I didn't have to think that that there was no trust for anybody. She showed the whole family to open up their eyes, their hearts, and their minds. And the sky would be the limit. She was special. Her caring even with her job, and she knew that a part of her job would have to be washing people's feet, and it never bothered her that way. She knew that she had to do it, even though she didn't like it. I remember the first time she came home after she had to wash an elderly person's foot. She'd come flying home. She's like, Dad, I had to touch him. You know, and I was like, what? She was like, her feet. I had to clean her feet. So it was amazing that she put that aside, and she was able to overcome that to help that person. Like I said, her heart was big enough to put her habits aside, her dislikes aside, to where she wanted to help other people, so that I give her praise. Everyone in our family, inside our family, close friends outside our family, learned something from Sis. Everybody. No matter who they were. They all learned something from Sis. I know a couple of friends that grew to love her within a short 6 months that she was here. And they showed it. That's because she had people from miles away that sent us cards that she had touched in one way, form, or another. I would like to now move into discussing a blended family that she came up from Illinois to have. She came up here. I was married in 2000. I said earlier, excuse me, let me backtrack a little bit here. I said earlier that she was the youngest of 3. That was until 2000 when I got married to my wife Deanna, and she had 4 kids. Now she was the youngest of 7. She had older brothers and sisters. Deanna came with 4 kids, and so she was the youngest. When she showed up here, my other 4 children, they welcomed her with open arms. There was nothing they wouldn't do for her. They accepted her for who she was because she was part of me. As I accepted them, my wife's children, as my children because they were part of my wife. So it was one big family. We don't use the word step in this family. It is absolutely prohibited in this family, the word step. For myself, and I believe I've got the rest of my children to think so, that the word step means you don't belong and you don't fit in. And that's not what we look for. We like to say it's an extended family. Everybody is one. And this is where we at with this family. We are one big, happy, huge family. As with any teenager, when Sissy showed up here, she had a few quirks. That's why she came to us from Illinois. But as time went on, and the big family unit that was able to take her and do other things that she wasn't able to do down in Illinois, them quirks slowly started disappearing. We see them disappear in a matter of 2.5, 3 short months. And she was turning her life around to become quite a young lady. She came up here, she had the chance to ride 4-wheeler. Never forget that day when she come home covered in mud, soaked head to toe, covered in mud. I've seen her ride on the back of a dirt bike. She just had a blast. There's just certain things she could do up here that she couldn't up here in Evans Village. She could no longer do in Romeoville, Illinois. And she just had a blast doing it. She loved every bit of it. I finally got to see, after all the turmoil and whatnot that was happening down in Illinois, I finally got to see my baby girl smile. And for me, she finally arrived at home. She was more at ease here than she was down there. Anytime any one of her brothers and sisters showed up, this was the kicker for us. She really got in. She loved it. She loved it. Every time someone showed up, I don't care what she was clothed in, her PJs, shorts, whatever, what the temperature was outside, she'd run outside and jump in her arms and damn near knock them down on the sidewalk. She just loved having her brothers and sisters around. There was no doubt about it. She smiled and goofed. It was a joyous occasion to see when they showed up. Sissy loved spending time with Deanna, my wife. It wasn't too long after Sissy was here, and she finally decided to start calling Deanna Mom. It didn't take long. She loved going grocery shopping with her. She loved going swimsuit shopping with her. She loved spending time with her. Even though she would hassle like daughters and mothers usually do, she still looked forward to the mother and daughter time that she got with Deanna. She especially loved the fact that Deanna would baby her and peel her oranges. She loved it so much, she brought kids from school home for lunch just to show them that Deanna would peel her oranges for her. That's how much she loved it so. Deanna reminded me of the way Sissy used to call me Daddy when she wanted something. At that time, I used to shuck it off. I never believed that Sissy was using Daddy to get anything, but when I play it back in my head, yeah, I was. Deanna loved the fact that Sissy would call me Daddy in a certain tone, and she would be able to get whatever she wanted. And it's true. I believe it now. And I can hear her in my head going, Daddy, or Dad. And she'd get what she wanted. Whatever followed, she got. And that was all there was to it. You know, to go back to the beginning, in conclusion here, I want to go back to what I said about the saying that I used to give her when she was a child. When she showed up here, I had come to find out that she still required me to give her that saying when she showed up here. Up until the last night before her accident. I still had to put her to bed with that same saying. 18 years old. She wanted me to put her to bed with that same saying. And if I didn't start it off, she'd start it off just so I would finish it. That showed me that no matter how old she got, she was forever going to be my baby girl. My baby girl is now my angel. And I always told her in that saying, if you remember, I told her to play with the angels. I just never knew it was going to be that soon. Now she's my angel. She's playing with angels. And I have an angel. I just wish it wouldn't have happened so soon. And I think that's where I'm going to end this evening before I bust down into tears. So I thank you all for coming, and you have a good night.